So hello everybody, of course, welcome to Blocked. So I'm glad that you took the opportunity to learn about this curriculum and coding activity. Now, Blocked is a tabletop learning experience. So there are actually several parts to it, and this video is going to introduce us to all of those specific components. So again, welcome, and let's go ahead and get started. So what this what this series is all about, what I'm going to do right now is actually talk to you about the overarching, the umbrella components of the game and the curriculum. And then in a series of sequential videos, we'll learn specifically about the game and the game details and what's specifically related to the coding problems slash situations that will be part of the game structure. That is, what are the problems that you need to solve in order to learn how to code? So with this being a tabletop learning experience, there are actually some very specific elements that I'm focused on. But let's go ahead and take a look at the overall umbrella components, and then we'll talk about the specifics as we go further. So what I want to do today is actually talk to you about what is blocked, what are the basic game elements, and then what to expect in this video series. So what is blocked? So blocked is a tabletop activity that reinforces coding concepts. And what I mean by coding concepts is that in order, before anybody actually steps and sits down in front of their keyboard, they actually have to be thinking about what it is they're trying to do before they actually do it. So there are a couple of specific elements here, and one of them is called pseudocode. So pseudocode is using some coding ideas with some basic language that helps you organize the flow or the sequence of code step by step by step. So once we have the idea of what should occur, then we want to put it into a structured format, and we call this a flow chart. So a flow chart really talks about or shows us in a visual way how the code should go, what happens first, what happens second, and what happens third, and so forth. And flowcharts have specific icons or diagram elements like rectangles and diamonds and things like that. So once we become familiar with what all of those components are, we are better able to create a flow chart and better able to visualize how the code should flow. And then once we have those ideas down, then we're going to start writing, literally with pen and paper. We're going to actually start writing out that sequence of code. We want to actually learn to think as a computer thinks. And so there are specific ways of writing code based on very specific coding structure, styles, or languages. Now, for this particular series, we're going to focus on Scratch and Python. So Scratch for the beginner level and Python for the more intermediate and advanced levels in terms of how the sequence of code should look. So for Blocked, the tabletop coding game, we're going to start with a game board. So just like anything else, this is going to be a game that has a start, a middle, and an end. So our goal for this is to actually find all of the code markers marked with a C, collect your code markers, and write some code. However, before we do that, we have to have a player sheet, and this is where most of the action is going to take place. So your player sheet contains three blocks: a block for pseudocode, a block for the flowchart, and of course a block for the specific code that will match the identified coding challenge or coding problem. So we have a game board, we have a player sheet. We also have a key code. A key code gives us the essential elements that will help all of our learners write pseudocode and create a flowchart. So this is going to be given to all of our learners. Even during the game, they should have this. And of course, I'm going to go more into this as we talk about the game structure. And then there's sample code challenge. So we have our coding challenges. Now, in Blocked, the tabletop code game, we're going to keep the challenges very simple because we really want to get young learners the idea of how things should flow, what comes first, what comes second, what comes third, and then how to structure that in a code sequence. And that's really, really, really what's important here. So, with that being said, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here. So, let's get started and learn about the game. I'll see you there.